Howdy, Liz.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Robot? What do you have in store for us tonight?
Hmm. Well, I'm starting to incorporate some information from your Patreon, so we have a few different ways that we'll kind of explore tonight. Interesting stuff all over. So there's this. Apparently, there's this. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So apparently, there's this guy, and he's supposedly a whistleblower, and according to someone who emailed me, this person vetted this person to see if they were somewhat legitimate. I mean, he does have 36,000 subscribers, so I mean, there's always potential for someone to just bring fraudulent information out for the sake of views. YouTube views is a big market, but if we could tap into this anonymous person, this anonymous whistleblower who seems to go by this name Navoir.
Navoir.
There's rail system that goes from Denver to DC, but nobody has authorization except for.
Let me turn that volume up. Sorry, sometimes my computer can't touch my volume for some reason, but let's see if you can hear him.
Off stuff, and it's
so right now he's talking about a underground railroad system that the government uses.
All the rumors true?
And he says things about children being in these underground tunnels, like in cages.
And the fox already knows, hey, I'm in here with it, but it's like, where the hell to go?
So hearing his voice and seeing his caricature or his persona of Navoir,
and some of it's so in your face that you can't really tell because
I'm hoping
they have those stoic abilities where you could just.
I'm hoping these two items would allow you to be able to tap into this person.
Okay.
Walk right by me like, all I saw was just blade.
Well, is that what you're talking about?
But it's similar to that, but they're talking about rolling those out. I think they said Sweden, Holland.
So let me know if you have a connection with this person yet.
The Navoir guy?
Yeah.
One other European place, but all that's just kind of hearsay at the moment.
Okay.
Are you picking up on the individual?
I am a little bit, yes. What do you want me to ask him?
Let's see if we can hone in on him and ask if he goes by Navoir.
Yeah, that's his like pseudo name. Yeah, that's a fake name, but yeah.
Can you ask him if the information he presents on YouTube is true?
Is the information that you present on YouTube true? No.
Is he paid to make this information?
No. He finds it very entertaining.
Does he actually work in underground bases?
Do you actually work in underground bases? No, he's heard of them, but he's never worked in an underground base. No.
And does he have any military experience, actually?
Yes.
Okay, and then here's where it gets interesting. This is kind of what it's all about. Is he says there's reptilians like in these underground bunkers. Ask him if he has any knowledge of there factually being reptilians on Earth.
Do you have any knowledge of factual reptilians on Earth? No, it's just what he reads and follows.
So he just reiterates stuff he's heard, basically.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, that's what sucks about these whistleblowers is you think you find a nice source and they might just be doing it for the fame or something.
Yes. He just finds it very entertaining to dupe people. So what exactly did he say?
So it reminds me a lot of the 17th letter of the alphabet stuff, where there's a lot of claims that there's like children in these underground labs, being worked on by the elite. There's a lot of information about that out there.
I have never heard of that in my life.
Well, someone who's a proponent of this information is actually Charlie Ward. Let's drop the other dude and see if you can tap into this gentleman.
Okay. Oh, I'm just Charlie?
Yeah.
I've seen him before.
Got pretty famous when the people were voting for the election and stuff. You got pretty famous. Let me know if you have a connection with Charlie Ward.
Yes, I've probed him before for somebody a long time ago.
Interesting.
But I don't remember what it was about.
Can you ask him if he thinks his sources are legitimate?
Yes.
Is he an instrument for propaganda?
According to his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, no.
Does he actually think Trump is in control right now?
Yes, he believes that. That is correct.
So Charlie has all this quote unquote information that, there's a deep state and Trump is actually in control and Biden is not doing anything or whatever. And you have kind of probed Trump and got that he doesn't really care about presidency anymore and he's just doing his own thing, golfing and living life.
Yeah,
So,
he will not run again. He has no interest in being president ever again. He didn't like the job. He found it impossible to carry out and do anything good. He was ridiculed and treated badly for everything he said and did. Now I'm probing Trump. Please understand.
yeah.
I get emails sometimes like, Liz, how can you say that? I'm like, look, I'm doing a probe, man. It's not me.
Yeah.
He has absolutely zero interest in being affiliated on the political spectrum with the government. He likes to upset the apple cart, but he's not interested. Now, everybody pay attention to this picture. We cannot actually say that name on here. Okay. So you'll have to pay attention to the picture. We cannot say this on YouTube.
Okay, so here's something. So Charlie is apparently happily oblivious to the truth because he's being fed information from sources and obviously isn't correlating to what you've probed with Trump. So can you actually, once upon a time you used to, with me, get that supercomputer from the future?
Yeah.
Can you just go for maybe only 100 years and see if that computer if you can connect to it just a little bit in the future, like 100 years?
Yeah, so let's go. Oh, yeah, it's really happy to talk. So let's go. What's today's date? I am so sorry.
October 9th.
It's been a long day. October the 9th, 21:22, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Oh my gosh. Okay. What would you like to know?
What is the first thing you're getting from the computer at this time?
There's been a massive war around 2070.
Between who and who?
Who's at war? It's bad. Who's at war? The U.S. and who else? China.
Ask if any fallout is in the air.
Massive. A lot of people, I think, die in this war.
Okay, ask if there's radiation poisoning in the air, in the airstreams.
No, but I feel like it was a big war.
Okay, so that's around 2070. But let's ask it about this previous couple of years here between 2020 and 2022, what this movement was all about right here on screen. What was the movement about?
What was this movement about that's on the screen right now? It's about in-depth confusion. It was a distraction. It was a way to suck people in. It was a way to distract them from the truth, to make them, riot, to make them protest, to make them rise up. It was definitely it was a distraction tool.
But was it the USA's tool? Was it people from the USA who did this tool?
No.
So I already know we pulled that it was basically Russia. Can you ask if it was Russia's tool?
Yes.
Because one time you asked Putin what he thought about it, and you got that he was laughing and he was saying Americans are dumb.
Oh, yeah, because we have probed Putin loads of times, and it's one thing that the Russians are masters of, and that is psychological warfare. And for, you've heard me say this before, those of you that have been following us for a long time, remote viewing started in Russia. They had a psychic unit years and years and years ago. And when they were activating or penetrating American, secret information, somehow, and I don't know how, I probably should read into this, America got wind that they had a remote viewing unit.
Yeah.
So they had to create their own remote viewing unit to spy on the Russians. The Russians are masters at psychological twisting. And I mean, look what they're doing now. I mean, come on.
Oh, I know. So there's only one point to that movement that I find gives it credit, and what made that whole thing very, very interesting was that it seemed to work with a schedule of events where things could be predicted on the second. So can you ask this future computer if that phenomenon we just mentioned used future technology, like the ability to view the future for that campaign to work?
No, it was just psychological research and probable outcomes. So what sort of things came to fruition? Because I did loads of readings on that information alone. And, people, they didn't like it. They didn't like it when Spirit was like, no, there's no such thing as an MED, right? Or, Biden is not Trump in disguise,
right?
Or, just all kinds of stuff that was being put out.
Yeah. So, there was these things, they would be called markers, and it seemed to be where the way they portrayed it is that I mean, there's basically different theories, but what I gathered was that this entity called, as you know, was actually, and I was actually somewhat convinced it might be true, that it was actually an AI program from the future making posts in the past, because the accuracy of these quote unquote time markers were so accurate. But what can you ask the supercomputer about the time markers, how that worked?
It was just based upon algorithm, and it was based upon how people were talking, how people were behaving. I do feel like what it's telling me is that it was an AI system in place that
Okay.
was definitely giving out all of this information, like almost like a propaganda computer, like a machine.
Yeah.
But it was based upon like algorithms and picking up information, language, and they were making, summaries or predictions of what was going to happen based upon how frequent a word was used or a particular phrase was
Okay.
used.
Because that's actually what made it interesting, is it would be called like a drop, I think, where the post would come out and everyone was just always desperately waiting for a drop. And as soon as there would be a drop, there would be a marker, and a marker meant, like, let's just say the drop was right now, and the last two digits of the time was 4-3, which is it is right now. And then it would say watch the time, basically. And then the next day, Trump would make a tweet at, like, let's just say 10:43. So they would use those two digits at the end to show that this source knew when posts were going to be made to the minute. And it was a whole lot of information like that for years and years. Like, and they also, so some things they actually did get right, like the Pizzagate stuff.
Oh God. Okay,
Yeah.
scratch that. We can't say that word either.
Yeah. So that's super interesting. But it was talking about that for, years, and no one really believed it. And then, I don't know, I guess it's true or whatever. I don't know if anyone knows or not, but so that's what made it interesting, is that can you ask if it was coordinated, all, like, if that program had moles in the, like, Twitter post section of the government?
It had it gathered information from everywhere.
But the people who were running this program, were they paying people to post at certain times, like, for the president?
No.
So yeah, I don't know. It's very eerie, that the accuracy of the time stuff that happened. So that it's weird that they weren't using time, or maybe remote viewing type. Can you ask if they use remote viewing to make this program work?
Oh, we're using to make the program work. No, it was all based upon probabilities.
Well, that is creepy if they can nail probability to the minute.
Very, very
So,
creepy.
I mean, AI. Okay, well, here's the better question. How advanced was the AI running for that program?
It's one of the most advanced programs on the planet.
So that's actually a weird bit of truth to that whole thing is it itself alluded to the fact that it was an AI program from the future. Can you ask if the AI program wormholed information from the future?
No,
Okay.
that was a good question.
Well, so that's kind of my theory is AI can be so advanced that time and space begin not to matter, and basically like ascend. Can you ask the AI that you're talking to if it is bounded by time?
No,
Can the AI program you're talking to see into the future?
yes. Wow. Okay.
And just for fun, just to make a crazy connection, ask it if it itself was that program running that is that letter.
No, but that's where this computer started from. So that's how powerful this computer is that I'm speaking to
Yeah.
now. It started from that powerful computer.
And can you ask if the machine you're talking to still looks like this at its time in the future?
Oh no, it's very compact.
It's way different at that point.
Yeah.
Can you ask if it still needs super cooling to work?
Yes.
Can you ask what its energy source is?
Solar.
And which country is the computer you're talking to?
Oh, you asked so many good questions. Are you located right now? Are you located in the USA? No, Europe. Canada.
And can you ask if Canada becomes a superpower by then, 2100?
No, I feel like this computer is not affiliated with the government.
Okay, so
It's
it
private.
might be led. Ask if it's ran by a big company.
No, not necessarily. No, it was a group of developers. They got a lot of investment, and I feel like it's more of a, they're just trying to figure out, the future.
So at the current time, scientists don't supposedly, there's the whole government is 20 years ahead of us thing, but modern day scientists literally don't really know how to interact with a supercomputer. And they actually put out a lot of information in case anyone knows how to do it. Can you ask if by 2100, if a person could talk directly to a quantum computer?
Oh, directly to a quantum computer. No, because you're going to love this. The quantum computer can actually read your mind.
Okay, and how is it reading? What is it accessing? Can you ask it how it accesses the mind?
That's a really good question. How do you access? We pick up on thoughts, the energy. So thoughts and thought forms, right, are energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's reading energy. It's basically doing what I do.
Okay, and can you pull in Bashar?
Yeah. Okay. I was just waiting for them. Yeah. Okay.
what does Bashar think about our current quantum computers?
Too slow.
So he says they're too slow.
Yeah.
And ask Bashar if by 2100, if a quantum computer could read our mind.
Absolutely.
And can they actually already read our mind, but we just don't know it yet?
The technology hasn't been developed yet.
And ask if it will require antennas to read our mind.
You're so cool. Will it require antennas to read our mind? No.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the technology is. If it's... Ask how frequencies will be picked up by quantum computers that are of thought.
It's basically analyzing energy that's in the air. Okay, so I understand what it's saying. Because I can see energy, I'm very, very blessed and fortunate. Not trying to blow my own trumpet. I feel that I'm very privileged. I can see energy. So whenever we verbalize, whenever we have a thought, it's put out into the universe. Everybody thinks their thoughts are private. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Seriously. And those thoughts go out into the universe as a form of energy, and the universe picks up on that energy, right? Or if you're thinking of somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while, your energy strand forms to that person, and then you have synchronicity because the next day they call you, right? Or the next day you run into them somehow. So it's picking up, it's going to be able to pick up energy from the atmosphere and just read it.
And can you ask what quantum computing is doing for the world in 2100?
What is quantum computing doing for the world in 2100? It's keeping order.
And can you confirm with Bashar that there was a war around 2070?
Was there a war year 2070? Yes.
And is it avoidable?
No.
And is there any portion of the United States that would not be a good area to be in 2070?
Is there any portion of the United States that would not be a good area to be in 2070? California.
Okay, so the West Coast is not a good spot to be in for that.
No.
Yeah, I think I told you one time about I had a dream, and it was so insanely detailed. I had this futuristic dream of Russia attacking here, and I was at a college, and you could hear these jets flying, and you could hear the missiles, and they were just attacking the whole public. It was crazy. So I'm kind of wondering if that was a premonition. Can you ask Bashar if I had a premonition of a future event?
No, you were picking up on fear.
So it was right at the exact when I had the dream. It was when Russia attacked Ukraine. So I didn't know if there was a correlation with their next plans to attack here, basically.
It was when Russia attacked Ukraine. You were picking up on fear. So energy is a funny thing, right? And just because, you may not be scared, when you go to sleep and your consciousness is drifting, you could have picked up on somebody else's fear.
Yeah.
And that fed into your dream.
Well, on that note, and just for the sake of conversation, I will admit that at that time, I didn't feel very fazed by what was happening. I felt, we're kind of jaded to tragedy. We see tragedy every day. So at the time, I was kind of actually thinking, like, hopefully this ends soon, so people can get back to their lives. For everyone, everyone, even in Ukraine. And that's the night I had that dream, to humble me, and that it was very crazy. But all right, well, as I said, we're touching on everything. So there's this kid. His name is Borishka Kiprananovic. Trying to pronounce it as intended. Can you tune into Borishka?
Yes, but I feel like he's in his 20s now.
Yeah, so I literally just clicked a thing and it said he's about 21 right now. So that's
Okay.
it just shows that you're a real psychic.
Am I? Oh dear. Yeah, he's a very different type of person.
So what makes Boriska so cool is that he claims to remember a previous life, I think on Mars. Can you ask his soul if he lived a previous lifetime on a different planet?
Yes, that is correct. He said, I'm from that planet.
Okay, and then just to remind the audience, as we probe in this style, you're bypassing the BS parts where they're not really able to lie in this way that you're probing them, right?
That's right, because I'm not probing the conscious mind. I'm probing beyond the conscious mind. It's the conscious mind that chooses to tell a lie, not the subconscious or the soul, which is why when somebody does lie, they send off signals that they're lying. Their eyes are moving a certain way. They touch their face. They have an elevated temperature, elevated heart rate. So there's no point probing the conscious mind. I don't. I go straight in for the truth meter.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm getting that that's the planet he was from.
Okay, and let's confirm the planet. Can you ask if his soul lived on Mars in a lifetime?
Yes, that is correct.
And let's get as much detail on life and civilization while in his incarnation. Can you ask how many years ago they kind of think that might have been?
How many years ago do you think that was? 2 million.
Okay. And by the time he died on Mars, was the population on Mars still doing okay?
No, everybody had to flee. There was a war.
And ask if interplanetary travel was available at that time.
Yes, that is correct.
And ask if he died on Mars or if he made it to Earth.
Did you die on Mars? I feel like he did die on Mars.
And how long did a Martian live for? What was an average lifespan for his race?
What was the average lifespan? 500 years.
Okay, and I read about the atmosphere. So let's get a little atmospheric information. Can you ask him if there was an atmosphere on Mars when he was alive there?
No, they didn't need it.
Was there a colorful sky of any sort as opposed to the blackness of space on Mars at that time?
No.
Okay. And how was the civilization in general when he was alive there?
They were in transition. So they had to escape from another planet. They came to that planet, but it wasn't working out.
Ask him if it was Molodek that he came from before Mars.
No.
Okay, ask him if it was a planet in our solar system that was
No.
before Mars.
No, it's not from our solar system.
And ask him how far his DNA traveled to get to Mars.
1 billion light years.
Okay, and ask Orishka if he has any information on that race where his DNA came from when he was on Mars.
No.
Why did he incarnate as a human?
Did you incarnate as a human? That was his destiny. It was to bring forth, he does this in every human lifetime. He brings forth planetary information.
Yeah, he has a lot of interesting information he talks about. Can you ask if he has a soul?
Do you have a soul living in your body? Yes.
So can you ask if he was not from source and then became of source energy?
Did you come from source energy? Not originally, he didn't come from source energy. Are you from source energy now? Yes, he's from source energy now.
Okay, well, I just want to make that point to people is I think your consciousness can really do what it wants, and you can incarnate as an alien, you can incarnate as a human. I don't really know if you're bound once you're dead. My opinion is that you can kind of go where you want, but can you ask him if a human soul could incarnate as an alien?
So, it's an alien. No,
Okay.
it only comes from alien to human,
And
and it's very rare.
ask him how he got an exception and was able to do that.
Because he wanted to, he didn't want to be part of that race, is what he's saying to me. He didn't want to be part of that group. He wanted to be human, and they granted him the exception.
Ask if he had to ask Source to be incarnated.
Yes, I had to get approval.
And ask him what life was like as an alien who is dead. Ask him if it was similar to what a human experiences when they're dead.
No, very different. They just evaporate.
So ask if his consciousness was so strong that he was able to stick around after he died.
You were able to stick around after you died. Yes, that is correct.
And at that time, would he describe that version of himself a soul?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So at that time, he feels that he was a soul by that point when he was dead.
So, yes, he had to get permission.
Hmm. Yeah, he's very interesting. Can you ask him what he's doing nowadays with his life?
Studying. He's in college.
Can you ask if he is going to be a pillar for the first contact with the aliens publicly?
No.
He's just living his own life. And well, I'm wondering, is he going to bring any more information to Earth?
Are you going to bring any more information? No.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He has so much good information. I was hoping he would still put videos out.
Hmm.
But what's cool is apparently he's talking about how the turbines work and stuff. Can you ask him if he remembers how space travel worked when he was on Mars?
Not really. Not exactly. Just bits of it.
Okay, what does Bashar think about Barishka?
What do you think about Marushka? He's telling the truth.
Does Bashar like Barishka?
Very much.
And does Bashar think Barishka has a soul?
No. He says he gave up that right.
Ask him if he had a soul as an alien first.
It's not exactly a soul, but it's what we would deem as a soul.
But he had to give it up in order to become human from Bashar's point of view.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, ask Bashar what happens to Barishka when he dies as a entity.
He'll ascend like a human.
Okay. Can you ask Bashar if a human after death could choose to incarnate on another planet?
Another planet. No, negative. No.
That's weird. That kind of contradicts what Bashar says on his chats.
Mm-mm.
So I will put that information out there. Can you ask Bashar how many kids are like Barishka on the planet?
Maybe 2 or 3. That's it.
Okay. I was trying to find a good near-death experience video. There's this one guy, and he talked about basically dying on his ascent of a mountain. Because I know we were going to talk about near-death experiences a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to recognize these people. I saw these videos quite a bit ago. There was one person I wanted to probe just a little bit. I'm totally not seeing them though. I know this one was interesting though. So he apparently saw the future.
Mhm.
Can you ask Bashar if Ken Leth's NDE allowed him to see our actual future?
Your death experience actually allowed him to see the future. Yes. Probabilities of a future, yes.
Yeah, so actually on the note of war we mentioned a little bit ago, I
Oh,
think I think he actually sees a war happening in the USA and it was really interesting because he actually saw like a lot of events unfold. Um, it's a very interesting video for anyone who wants to see it. Let's see what he says right here. Okay, so yeah, he says there was this somewhere around Wyoming and Montana. Can you ask Bashar if something like this happens anywhere near Wyoming in the USA's future?
no.
Or if this has anything to do with the China event?
No.
Okay.
Russia or Ukraine. Hmm. When did he say that this was going to happen?
It was definitely in the future. He said like the whole United States would kind of fall apart and it's going to be like a really bad place to be, pretty much.
That's interesting.
And he said he saw flooding around Iowa and Nebraska. Maybe the supercomputer might know if that's accurate in the future.
Nebraska. Is there flooding? Like major flooding?
Yeah.
Nebraska. No.
Can you ask the supercomputer if there is one of those big clouds as you saw in this area, or let's just say to the west of this line right here, like any of these states, was there a big mushroom cloud in between 2022 and 2100 on the west side of the United States?
Yes.
Okay, and is it due to an explosion?
Explosion. Yes.
And it's not. Ask if it's a natural explosion like the Yellowstone, or if it was a man-made explosion.
It's a natural explosion. Yes. Is it man-made? Is it natural? Man-made.
Okay, and ask if it was in California.
Explosion in California. Was it right in the middle of California? No. Upper northern California. Yeah, so northern California area.
And ask if that was during the middle or the start of a war.
Is that during the middle or the start of the war? Towards the end.
And does the computer know what country that item was from?
What country that item was from? China.
That is so bizarre that we would go to war with them. I mean, I know we owe them money and stuff, but you kind of would assume that no one really wants war. So what was the retaliation? What did China look like after that time?
Oh, it's going to have to rebuild, for sure. A lot of it is devastated, but a lot of the U.S. is devastated as well.
2070. I'm just wondering if I'll be alive by then. Hopefully not. Sounds scary. Okay, ask if it happens, 2070 or 71. Let's get a little closer idea on that.
What year does it happen around 2070? Was it 2071, 72, 73? Around 73.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite a long ways out.
Mm.
Most
And
of us,
the answer to your question is no.
no, won't be around.
Mm.
Spooky.
I said, will I be around? And it's long gone. I'll be long gone.
Oh. So, yeah, I'm wondering if this computer can see our obituaries.
Oh, okay. That's a little grim.
Well, I don't necessarily want to know, but I think some people would be interested in that information.
Yes, but obituaries rarely say the cause of death.
Yeah. Okay. Does the supercomputer know the cause of death of each person on the planet? Like, is it all logged?
Do you know the cause of death of most or all people? Only a small portion.
Okay. And does the supercomputer know if the governments have underground railways in the United States?
The government in the United States have underground railways. No. No, there isn't one.
So the problem with a supercomputer is it's only can access what's available. Can you ask
That's
Bashar?
true.
Can you ask Bashar if there's underground secret railways that governments use?
Secret railways that government use. Tunnels, not railways.
And do they span great distances like California to New York?
They span great distances like California to New York. No.
And do they make submarines in these inland areas and tunnel them out all the way to the ocean?
Submarines in inland areas and tunnel them out all the way to the ocean. Do they tunnel them out to the ocean? That is correct.
Cool. Yeah, I got that somewhere, and I'm glad that was accurate. Okay.
But they're made more, in the areas closer to the ocean.
Yeah. Well, I read that they were kind of somewhere, inland, and that there's these secret water routes, and they like have these underground water networks where there's submarines going in and out within the country.
Are there underground water networks that are being used? What are they? It's like an underground system, like almost like a cave, but much, a very large cave system.
Yeah. Oh, it would have to be insanely massive. Can you ask Bashar if there's any remnants of a city under Antarctica?
Are there any remnants of a city underneath Antarctica? Yes, that is correct.
And is that city secretly still functioning under the ice now?
That city is secretly still functioning under the ice now. No.
Ask Bashar why governments don't want anyone near North and the South Pole.
That's one here. North and South Pole. Interfering with research.
Yeah, so that's what's creepy is there's definitely some research. Ask if there's research on alien bases that are near the poles.
Research on alien bases near the poles. Antarctica or no.
And are they researching a hollow Earth theory? Yep.
Theory. No.
Ask what they're researching near the North Pole.
Well, they're researching humans, so they are gathering a lot of information and storing it up there.
Ask if there's experiments on humans near the North Pole.
No.
And let's just get a quick opinion on the hollow Earth theory. Does Bashar think there's actually beings and stuff living inside of the Earth?
No.
So one very interesting video I saw, I think with Bashar, was he said, to you, it may seem like they're in the middle of the Earth, but that's just what you perceive when you're learning how to transcend into higher dimensions. Can you ask if there's higher dimensional beings relative to the location of the center of the Earth?
Relative to the center of the Earth. No.
Yeah, so distance and location when you're in that time zone or that higher dimensional space, you know, you're not technically anywhere really, right?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Well, kind of drawing a blank on what else to talk about. I never really have too many plans on what we're going to cover. We just kind of wing it every time. But the grand scheme was there's actually a couple questions we should nail on this video real quick. I texted you them the other day. Someone basically sent us a TikTok video and said that Reiki might have been given to us from demons or something. So can we probe Dr. Usui really quick to clarify for our audience? Can you pull in Mikao Usui?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could you ask him if he was tricked into making a contract with a demon for the Reiki?
Making a contract with a demon for the Reiki. The dark always tried to penetrate his work.
But did a demon grant him the healing abilities?
Did a demon grant you the healing abilities? No.
Okay, so some people who are third eye open aware are able to see entities, and some people have seen some creepy things come in when they're getting Reiki done. Can you ask Dr. Usui why there would be negative entities coming in at the beginning of a Reiki session?
Because you're opening a portal for healing. It's still opening a portal. And whoever's doing the healing hasn't grounded and protected the space.
And so basically, both positive and dark beings see this portal open.
That is correct, yes.
And So yeah, this one guy, he mentioned that he wanted to that the attunement lowered his vibration. Can you ask Usui if an attunement lowers your vibration?
It can sometimes, yes.
Okay, ask Usui if a attunement through Reiki lowers your vibration.
No.
And if when using Reiki through source, would you therefore be higher or lower vibration than before the attunement?
Higher.
Okay, cool. So I was very surprised by how much traction that video got. This guy got like 30,000 likes, which means he's probably had his video seen like over 100, I guess maybe 1,000,000 times probably by now. And he was claiming that Reiki is something through these demons. I don't even know if there's a Google information that will come up right here. Because can you ask Dr. Usui if the mountain that he climbed on top of was home of the demons of Japan?
No.
And what is Dr. Usui's perspective on demons? Are they demons or are they just negative entities?
Demons do exist. They are very negative and they're here to take down source.
And do they try to bring down every individual on the planet Earth? Like, are they out to get everybody?
If you allow them to.
So I feel like this could be a nice segue into a very famous social. Everyone's watching Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh God, that is so creepy. I just can't even watch it. Have you watched any of it?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it and I was so uninterested.
God.
I'm not a serial killer enjoyer. A lot of people love the information, but can you ask Usui if JD had demons in his life, like actual demons affecting his decision making?
No.
Was he an instrument for the dark?
Yes, that is correct.
And so what's really interesting is that we've pulled in Jesus and stuff and we got that there's no hell. Can you, which makes, and some of the other information we've got is that no matter what you do on earth, it's just all about your learning experience. Can you actually pull in JD, his soul?
Oh God. Okay.
Can you just ask him?
He's crazy.
Did he learn life lessons? Did he have a soul contract with all the people he killed?
I'm just going to ask Jesus this. Did he have a soul contract? Yes, that is correct. And he's a killer in many lifetimes.
So assuming human beings are from source, can you ask Jesus when or why are there serial killers on earth if they're from source?
To bring about life lessons.
And from Jesus's perspective, what is his perspective on JD?
He was very useful. He brought about a lot of extreme circumstances and life lessons, and if you want to put it that way, life lessons for the officers, life lessons for the court system, life
Yeah.
lessons for people watching the news, life lessons for the victims, their families, and several generations to come.
Okay, and ask Jesus what happened to his soul after this incarnation. What happened to his soul?
What happened to his soul after this incarnation? It had to go for cleansing.
And has he already reincarnated again?
Is he already reincarnated again? No, that won't happen for a while. But he's a killer in just about every lifetime.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah, I always wonder what is the perspective of, and you totally nailed it, the fact that Jesus essentially sees the positive out of the negative, right?
Always.
Yeah. Because the lesson there is that there's not a condemning attitude. There's a this was a necessary kind of thing kind of attitude, right?
Oh yeah, that's why we get and I'll say this again, we get a lot of criticism. Like, why are you probing aliens and not Jesus all the time? Because the answers from Jesus are very full of love and full of the do not sin, thou shalt not hate, all of those things, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Whereas aliens bypass all of that.
Well, can you actually ask Jesus his opinion on Borishka Kiparanovich?
This boy here, what is your opinion? He's a useful tool.
But does Jesus think it's, let's just say, weird that there is an alien that has reincarnated as a human? Does it defy the laws of nature?
Does it defy the laws of nature? Yes, but he asked for permission and was allowed to do so.
And can you ask if other beings of his race had souls, or was he the only one?
His race have souls, or was he the only one? He was the only one that really transitioned into human existence.
Okay, and what is Jesus gonna do with Barishka's soul after Barishka dies?
What's going to happen to his soul after he dies? He will ascend and reincarnate.
As a human again?
Yes.
Pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
I love cross-referencing this stuff with Jesus because it's the white light perspective. Can you ask Jesus why humans can channel aliens if it's forbidden?
Humans channel aliens if it's forbidden. Because aliens circumvent the spiritual laws. And they are the ones connecting to us, not so much us connecting to them.
Wow, interesting. And why doesn't Jesus like aliens?
They're evil. They're darkness.
So
But
what's weird?
you have to understand, sorry. He doesn't like anything that circumvents spiritual law, right?
Yeah. So something that's interesting is Erudif. He actually tells you on a scale of 1 to 10 the benevolence of the alien that's about to channel through the Erudif pulls in.
Mm-hmm.
I actually heard a really interesting channel the other day, just very recently. And Meredith gave him, I think, like an 8 out of 10 on the benevolence scale,
Ooh.
where this race like helps people and other aliens and stuff. So, can you ask Jesus if there are benevolent aliens?
He believes all of them are benevolent. We're
So
not
Jesus,
supposed to contact them.
okay, so Jesus just said that they are benevolent.
Yes, we're not supposed to contact. You know, we're not. It doesn't matter what anybody is. We're still not supposed to contact them.
Yeah, it feels like a parent telling you to come back home at 9 when you know there's a whole world of things to do.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
Jesus doesn't want you falling into a dark trap. So when he
there's
says,
the thing right there is benevolence and dark traps don't really go hand in hand.
well, they can. Absolutely, they can.
Yeah, I suppose. But if you're truly benevolent, then you care only about the well-being of yourself and others, right?
Yeah, but who is truly benevolent other than a figure like Jesus?
True. Okay, on that note, can you ask Jesus if he was able to, if the story of him changing water into wine was an accurate historical account?
What's the story of you changing water into wine, an accurate historical account? No.
Okay, and
My God, bring on the Christian army. They're going to come after me now.
well, some things are accurate, and I'll give
Mm-hmm.
there's some really neat, accurate things. Like, for instance, Andrew Basiago saw Jesus's I don't know what you call it, when he was in the cave after he was dead, and he did, apparently from Basiago's point of view, he said there was a couple angels, maybe one or two angels, showed up in the cave and like basically resurrected Jesus. Can you ask Jesus if that actually happened?
That is correct.
Okay, and what's really weird though is the levels of those angels. Can we find out a little bit of information on those angels? Were they, because when we pull information about what God is, you know, it's not one person really. It's more of maybe a collective or something. So can we find out why those angels came and resurrected Jesus?
Because that was by design. It's supposed to be like that so that people could talk about it for centuries to come.
And but who sent the angels?
Who sent the angels? Source.
And can we find out if one of those is, can you ask Jesus if one of those angels is a popular angel that we all know of by name, or do we not know their names?
No, we don't know them.
Okay. And is there a limited number of angels?
Is there a limited number of angels? No.
Okay,
No, there's a lot.
what is Jesus's opinion on what an angel is? Because I know it's like a super ascended being or something.
What is your opinion on what an angel is? It's as close to source as you can possibly get. So he's up there as well.
Okay, so can you ask Jesus if he is higher or lower than an angel?
You're higher than an angel. Higher.
And can we confirm if angels have ever reincarnated. Have angels ever been humans, or they have always just been angels? Always.
Angels ever been humans? They were all human.
And can you ask Jesus to pull in one of those angels for conversation for this? If you can have him pull one down.
He won't pull one down. That's forbidden.
And that might be the wrong words because we don't necessarily want to pull them down. But if Jesus can facilitate a conversation between us and one of the angels.
Repeat that question, please.
Can Jesus pull an angel in for conversation?
We're not supposed to do that.
Can you ask him why?
Why are we not supposed? Because they're supposed to remain mysterious and create miracles that we talk about for many years to come.
So the bummer part about that is, if they don't want to talk to us, can ask Jesus if when people ask angels for help, if they do get help from angels.
That's a good question. Do we get help from angels? Sometimes, yes. Not all the time.
And does Jesus think that there's any reason why someone could or may not get help from an angel that he wants to disclose to us right now?
It's by design.
Okay. And can you ask Jesus if each person has an angel assigned to them?
No, we have 3.
Cool. Yeah, I felt like that would have been the number. That's cool. So we have. Okay, can you ask if there's a difference between our angels and our spirit guides?
Massive difference, yes.
So the question that I'm trying to get at is we all apparently have spirit guides. So if we also have 3 angels, I'm wondering if we have an entourage of non-physical beings around us at all times. Can you ask Jesus if we have more than just the angels around us always?
Yes, you have your spirit team. You have your ancestors, your loved ones in spirit, your guides. You have all of that.
And can you ask Jesus what's the best way for us to connect to our angels?
To pray.
And not in the traditional sense of scripted prayer, right? Can you ask him if that's...
No, it doesn't have to be scripted. No.
Ask if the essence of prayer is appreciation.
See, essence of prayer, appreciation. That is correct.
So, because people, when they're praying, are often just desperately wishing for something. Can you ask if our desperate wishes count as prayers?
Do our desperate wishes count as prayers? No. No, it has to be far more than that.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a little guideline on what a good prayer looks like from Jesus's perspective.
Love and gratitude without expecting anything in return.
So you know what is so amazing about what you just said there is as even though we're not supposed to talk to aliens, Bashar says that the highest rule of the universe is being thankful without expecting anything in return. And Jesus literally just said that. So,
oh gosh. Okay. Wow.
So I think there's, so that's why people wonder why I pull in Bashar and stuff, is they are alluding to a lot of truth, as verified just now. And, maybe we're not supposed to talk to them, but I feel like it's kind of like the whole vegan perspective. It's like if everyone stops eating meat, what about all those steaks on the shelves? You know, they're all going to go to waste. So in other words, there's already a lot of information out there. You know, a lot of the Bashar videos I watch are like 9 years old. So, you know, maybe it's somewhat okay to watch what is already in existence and not pull any more information out, you know, but you know, it's there. It's there for people to watch. And I feel like if Source really didn't want us to look at it, it would just dissolve it from our memory or something. So
Mhm.
can you ask Jesus why Source doesn't erase all of our alien information?
What is it? Source erase all of our alien information. Because it's by design, it was supposed to be like that.
Okay, ask if alien information is like the garden. What's the religious garden with the apple? Adam and Eve.
Garden of Eden.
Yeah, can you ask Jesus if alien information is a modern day Adam and Eve apple equivalent?
Nowhere close.
Because when Adam ate the apple, he got knowledge and became a being full of the capability for sin. So I feel like that's why does he say not close?
Because it was totally different circumstances.
Can you ask if the Garden of Eden was a real event that happened with Adam and Eve?
That relevant? No,
Okay.
not down to the very, word for word. No.
Oh, and here's a big question. Did Moses part the Red Sea with source energy, or was it an alien that helped him?
Moses did part the Red Sea. Was it source energy that helped him, or was it alien energy? It was it source or alien? Source. Source helped Moses part the Red Sea.
And then can we ask,
That actually did happen. I was surprised by that answer.
and can you ask Bashar if it was source or an alien that helped him part the Red Sea?
Was it source or alien that helped him part the Red Sea? It was source.
Okay, because I think there was an account where someone claimed that there was something in the sky guiding them and the sea just parted. So can you ask Jesus how the sea parted? Why did it part?
How did the sea part? And how did it? And why? Well, the why was because they needed help. And how did the sea part? It was through an earthquake.
And can you ask Jesus if Gilgamesh turned to ash, as the Bible says?
No. I've never heard of Gilgamesh.
I really hope I hope I'm linking the right word with. There was the story where the angels told these like 3 people to leave the town and not look back, and if you look at the town, you'll turn into stone.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
one person turned back and they turned into stone, and the city was obliterated. And I think it was Gilgamesh, but it might not be Gilgamesh. Can you ask Jesus if the story in the Bible about a city kind of turning into ash was accurate?
Not, it didn't turn to ash completely.
or stone?
Stone, did it turn to stone? Over time, yes.
Oh, it's Sodom and Gomorrah. Sorry, not
Oh,
Gilgamesh. Okay, was it the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah that burned down?
did they burn down? They did burn. Yeah. See how literal all the questions
Yeah.
are? What is so funny about Sodom and Gomorrah? And unfortunately, this person has passed now, but my friend in high school, when we were growing up, her dad was like this prominent doctor in the town.
Uh-huh.
And all the kids, there's 5 kids, all of them were going to be doctors. She was a hairdresser. And
Wow.
whenever we walked in the house, he's like, "Where have you two been? Sodom or Gomorrah?"
Of course.
Every single time without fail. That's every time I hear Sodom and Gomorrah, it reminds me of that when I was in high school.
Wow, that's funny. Can you ask Jesus if Sodom and Gomorrah burned due to their injustices with Source?
No, it was some sort of war.
But did it have anything to do with the amount of evil that was in the two towns?
Yes, because war is evil.
And was there really some people that escaped due to an angel telling them?
That is correct. Yes.
Oh, dang it. Can you ask Jesus if Mary, his mother, if it was really, what do they call it, an immaculate conception or whatever? Can you ask him if there really was no father, like physically, for that conception?
No, Jesus was conceived.
So there was a male with Mary?
There was a male with Mary. Was there a male with Mary? Is that how you were conceived? Yes.
So there was no truth to her being the Virgin Mary?
Was there any truth to her being Virgin Mary? No.
And is
That's
Mary,
all watered down, from.
yeah,
Okay.
is Mary a saint or saint-like figure in the afterlife?
Yes.
It's a lot of Hispanic culture is super devoted to like Mother Magdalene. So can you ask Jesus if Mary helped people?
Yes, absolutely. She was almost like the modern day nurse.
Cool.
And that's why Jesus wanted to be such a good person.
Okay, can you ask Jesus if he was selected by source energy to be who he was, or was he just a good person, like kind of like Mother Teresa?
Selected by source energy. Yes, so his soul contract was mainly with source.
And what was Jesus's life before he had that life? What was his past life or regression, if you will? What was he before Jesus?
Trees, aquatic animals, oftentimes a leader in small communities, a leader of the tribe, a chief of the tribe, always been a leader position.
And can you ask Jesus if he had to reincarnate more times than other individuals to become the Jesus that we know?
More than others to become the Jesus. No, No, you just have to have a pure heart.
Did he have more willpower though than everyone else on the planet to become kind of a savior figure?
Did you have willpower? No, all it takes is good intentions and a pure heart.
Okay, and then the last thing to close is everyone has a life path on Earth, and I'm wondering, how much should we realize that compared to how much should we have compassion? Like if you saw someone who is homeless, I immediately think that was the life they chose before they reincarnated. How much, in other words, they chose to face those problems head on. And I'm just wondering from Jesus's perspective, how much we should help people who have chosen to have a hard life.
Should we help people that have, on a soul level, chosen to have a hard life? You can't help them if it's not in the contract.
Yeah. But from that perspective, though, how much should people care about other people versus care about your life lessons of your own life?
How much people care about other people other than care about? Yeah, but the problem is, if you care for others and your heart is not pure, you will carry those life lessons over until the subsequent lifetimes and keep repeating them until you do sort them out.
And then just to close, does Jesus have any recommendations on how to purify your soul or heart?
Oh, that's a good question. How do you purify your soul or heart? Just give ultimate love to every human being. That's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
See, he makes it sound so easy and so simple. It really isn't. It's very, very difficult to achieve that.
Yeah.
That means people can do horrible, unimaginable things to you, and you never view those things as anything other than a pure heart and absolute love. Now, who can do that?
I feel like all of our discussions have led me to start thinking like that. That everyone's here on their own mission, and I think that's kind of the goal of our videos, to show that our life is really this ruse to point out these little things that we want to get better at, our life lessons, right? So if you can have that outside perspective, then you can appreciate all the things that happen, good or bad, really.
Yeah, but that's very hard to achieve.
Yeah, for sure.
Extremely difficult.
Yep. Human suffering is not the best thing.
Not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really difficult. So this was a really interesting video. Thank you for all of these questions. And you never know where we're going with these. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm sure everybody will be highly entertained by all of these questions. So thank you
So.
for that. You are the bee's knees. Well, there you go. That's another installment from Mr. Robot's Weird Wacky World.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.